Welcome to the Underdogs podcast. This is your first podcast, so what made you do this?
So I started out on TikTok. So I ended up with 10,000 followers on TikTok. I didn't know really what I was doing in TikTok. I was kind of battling and stuff like that. But the more I spoke about in my bio, I'd obviously spent almost 12 years in prison, been wrapped in addiction for most of my life.
Okay.
So I put that in my bio, and then I don't know, it just came to me obviously the only thing I can do now is try and help people with obviously the stuff I've done, so it just came to me as an idea.
So what made you come up with the name Underdog when your name's Keith?
So the Underdog wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
The name on the TikTok is the Underdog, but that's not for me, that's for every single person out there that's maybe been through trauma in their life, a single mum, a single dad, everybody knows somebody that's struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody that's been to prison, things like that. So the name wasn't for me, it was for everybody.
So you're helping everyone as
Well, I'm trying.
Yep. So tell me how you grew up and where you came from.
So I was from a place in Hamilton called Fairhill.
Right.
Grew up good. My mum and dad done everything for me and my brother and my sister done absolutely everything for me. I can't complain there. But outside the house, the street I stayed in was called Nielsen Street. I remember being very young, and I remember being the full street was well known for drug dealing and things like that. So I was open to that at an early age. I was open to seeing police putting in doors. My uncle, my godfather, I'm not going to mention his name, he was a big drug dealer. He was stabbed to death. I remember that I remember that happening, but I was only dead young. But I remember flowers and all that being laid, and I just didn't understand. He used to come round all the time, my dad and that, I know who I'm talking about. Obviously he's my godfather, but I remember him coming round all the time, and he always had money. And back in the day, if you got £1 for the van, that was a lot.
That was, yeah.
You could get so much, so he used to give me £3, £4 to go to the van. That would last me a week at the van. I would get Haribos and all the mix-ups. But I was as I say, I was born in Nielsen Street. I think we stayed there. I can't remember what age to, but I was savvy. By the time I moved out to Nielsen Street, we moved to Nielsen Road in Fairhill.
And we get school through the
I was just so when we moved from Nielsen Street into Nielsen Road, I was still playing football, things like that. Wasn't involved in any gangs. My mum and dad split up, so I dug school one day, and I came home from school, and I was terrified because if my dad caught me, I'd get my ass kicked. That's what happened. My dad never beat me or that, but if I'd done something wrong, I get my ass kicked. Which I don't see anything wrong with, because it didn't affect me in any way. I wasn't abused anything like that. If I didn't toe the line, I was taught about it. My dad was strict that way, but so I come in from school, and my dad said, I need to talk to you, come up the stairs. So me and my brother went up the stairs, and my dad burst out crying. And I've never seen my dad cry before. And he said, I'm leaving, I need to go, I'm moving. So I didn't know what was happening, but we burst out getting as well. I'm trying to tell them not to go, because mum and dad argued a lot, but MD that's grown up with their mum and dad, they never think they're going to split up. I never ever seen it coming until I came in that day. And I kind of took my dad's side. And so I kind of blamed my mum for years and years and years. Until later on in life, my mum explained to me how her life had been, and she wasn't happy in her life. And I totally understand where she's coming from now. She met a new guy, and me and my brother were absolutely terrors. I'm not gonna lie, I was a terror. I joined a gang. When my dad moved out the house, it gave me more freedom. I could rip the piss out my mum. Do you know what I mean? Which I did. I did. My mum would tell me to win for a certain time. I would stay out. She'd send the police out looking for me.
About that time when you get into crime and
14, 15 when I joined.
So young.
But I was looking up to them. So I remember a 11-year-old. He'll not mind me saying this. Stephen Lynch. he's done the same as me, been to jail, maybe more than Stephen's done. I've been in dub next door to Stephen. What a laugh we got with co-pilots and stuff, like had them all fighting with each other, but young people. But I remember Stephen getting out of prison one day, I think I was like 13, and I remember he'd like all the lasses round him, like the new clothes on, and I remember looking at him and saying, I can't wait to be that. Like, so that's what I was looking up to. I was not looking up to football players, I was not looking up to anybody else. Like, where my area, Fairhill, you looked up to the gang members, you looked up to the drug dealers. So I looked up to that and wanted to become that as soon as possible.
So what age were you when you went to jail?
So I was 16.
16, and did you start taking drugs at that age as well?
Nah, so Pullman, I went to Pullman when I was 16. I think the first time I went to Pullman was like a 4-week remand. But I was lucky, I landed in Isle One and there was like 9-10 boys from Fairhill in the hall. They all know who they are. Some of them are here now. But I was lucky that way, like I landed in a hall and it was full of my pals, my older pals. But I was the youngest, they were all older. So that kind of introduced me to them. When they seen me coming out of jail, they kind of took me on as is like, so they were older ones, but I was a younger. But when I went to jail, it was all the elders that was in. I was the only young one in there. So
How was your first night like?
First night was scary, man. Like, I remember it, 10-6-6-5-4. I'll never forget that, that's my jail number. And then I was dubbed up with a boy from Para called Chrissy Jackson, great guy, man. He was 10-6-6-5-3. So he, like, it was his first time in. And I met Chrissy all the time. From Pullman, I met him in Adderall. Like, as I say, every day I met in Pullman, I met him later on in
So
life.
what happened after your 4-week remand? What happened?
I think I got probation or something like that, but at that time I wasn't interested. Like, I enjoyed prison, Pullman. I know it sounds...
I've heard loads of stories about it, like drugs and things like that, fighting. What was that like?
A lot of fighting, not a lot of drugs. Pullman was anti-drugs, like... So heroin and like that, there was people that come in on methadone and stuff like that, they get bullied.
Right.
You got bullied if you took heroin and there was a lot of hash and things like that, but Pullman was more violent. It was fighting. Like, I fought a lot in Pullman, my brother fought a lot in Pullman, I was in with him, my cousin fought a lot in Pullman. Like, MD in Pullman fought, do you know what I mean? It's just
in Pullman for?
So I ended up in Pullman when I was like, I think I was 17 and a half, and I was in Pullman till I turned 21, and then I was moved on to a Clonsdale, like, so an adult jail. So I remember my birthday, July the 20th, in Pullman, and I couldn't wait to get to Adderall because Adderall was just a new prison. And I was seeing pictures of it, and they had showers in their cell. Pullman, you had to go out for a shower, so in Adderall you had showers in your cell, you had a flat screen TV. They were making it out as if it was this fucking hotel, so I was bet, like, because of my postcode is ML, I would have went to a Lanarkshire jail, so I knew I was got to Hingway, but some boys in the Hingway were got to Ballina, which fucking hell, I went there later on in life, so thank God I never went there straight away. But I landed in Adderall and was lucky really again, because all my elders was in there. My big cousin was in there, Darren Johnson, he's now passed away. My uncle Peter Johnson was in there at the time, a legend, Pedro.
So what was the rules like in Adderall?
Adderall, when I went there was the screws, like, they weren't the screws, like, compared to Pullman and that. SPS, Adderall was a private run prison.
Right.
So there was a lot of people going with screws, things like that. You could do what you wanted. You could literally move yourself to another hall to try and do somebody. It was it. But it was good at that time until legal high getting introduced to the prison, and that's when everything went to fuck. That's when I started realising, like, people were getting... I remember I was in the one gym, somebody was getting a haircut, and next minute the guy giving him a haircut just took the face clean right off the boy, and I'm watching this, his teeth are hanging out, and he done it for £100 worth of fucking legal high, like 2 bank cards of paper, £50 for a bank card of paper. So 2 of them the boy had slashed the boy for. So that just shows you how dangerous it was. And I realised then, like, aye, like that's what fucked
Does
Adderall.
prisons no help addictions? Like,
So Adderall, like if you're doing a long term sentence and that, it's really hard to move on. Like a lot of people don't move on for Adderall. Like certain people in Adderall or in Adderall, like how can I hang it? Like it was just I just MD's been in Adderall like 2000 and I think it was 2011 the first day or 2010. No, I tell a lie. Adderall used to take remands, so I was on remand in Adderall very early as the first time I went. But when I was sentenced, I went straight to Poland because they couldn't house. They could remand, they could house remand prisoners under 21, but they couldn't house sentenced prisoners under 21. But it was a zoo. It was an absolute
like
zoo. It was a zoo. It's the most dangerous, it's the most unsafe prison that I've ever been in.
so what would you say was like the worst jail that you've been in? Like,
Adderall. Without a heartbeat.
is that with the fighting and the drugs as well?
Aye, and it's just as I say, like obviously when I was outside, I done some stuff like I can't shy away from. So when I went into Adderall, I had to face the problems head on. Like you go in a gaff with somebody and you need to fight it out. If you don't, you're finished. Do you know what I mean? So if you're walking the walk outside, you need to get in there and be able to walk the walk in there. But I was lucky, like I was liked in there, I had a lot of pals in there, and rarely fought in Adderall, but it was scary because you know if somebody got a bit of legal high in, it would only take somebody that takes a legal high literally 50 quid to take your face off. So you always had that in the back of your head. People from maybe other halls that you fought with and stuff that could just put a bit of legal on your head. And these people are that desperate. You've seen the videos. Everybody's seen the videos on YouTube, people taking seizures. I remember seeing people like I'm not even kidding on, pouring milk out of his cell and singing my milkshake brings all the boys to the yards just for a bit of legal, like pure bullying. But I know it's funny, but it was like that's what, for a bit of legal high, somebody was told to stand on a table, pour a full jug of milk out of his head and sing my milkshake brings all the boys to the yards, and he did it and I watched him. Another person sucked somebody's toes for a bit of legal high. That's how desperate it was. I seen people who were built like a tank, and then 2 years later I seen them behind their door in a suicide cell, saying they had cameras in their fingers, things like that. The legal high absolutely destroyed people. I seen people sent to stairs who I was close to because they took that much legal high. It just absolutely blew their mind.
So what did the prison actually do?
I don't know, like as I say, like it's still the same right now as I hear. I've not been in prison since 2020 during COVID I got out. But like I was 28, I was released when I was 30, but I was 28 in there when it clicked in my head. Like but it takes, as I say, it did click in my head at 28 to change my life, but it doesn't work that way. You get £78. So in Adderall there was a thing called subby. So when I turned a corner and moved into Adderall, everybody was taking this subby, like all my pals, and they were after it, they were all chatting and happy and things like that. So I'm like, I didn't know what it was. I was like, give me a line it. It's a heroin fucking substitute. That's what it is. Subutex. But you're like, so see, you get people in the jail, right? The gym is the way they handle their sentence. You get other people that music, guitars and stuff handles, and you get other people that drugs. They just take drugs just to get through, and most people take drugs. Like I could tell you people who took drugs that you would never think took drugs. Like everybody in there is just trying to get by, but there is some dangerous people in there I've met that deserve to be in there, of course. Like, but what I think's wrong with it is like most people are in for theft, shoplifting, things like that. Like I think I know a lot of people might disagree with me here, but drug addicts and that, it's all through trauma. Like there's no like intervention, there's no trauma, there's no work on any of that kind of stuff. That's why it's a revolving door. You get lived with a house, a drug habit, £68 in your hand, and you get just let out the door. So like, no wonder people are getting out,
Yeah.
spending that £68, and then they're going right back to shoplifting to feed their addiction. So these jails need to work out a way where these people are leaving prison, they're going into houses that they're looked after, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are just left on the street, and then like I've personally been under a sentence and seen a guy coming in 5 or 6 times before I've even got out, just due to addiction. And I don't think personally people like that should be in prison.
Yeah, they need help.
They need help.
You don't get that in jails.
No, you don't. Well, Berlin was good. Berlin had a wee cafe, it was called, where you could go up and that, and then talk about drugs and things like that. That was good. And I done a lot of art in Berlin with the Citizens Theatre. So I loved that, man. Like, we did plays in Berlin. I stood up in front of like 300 people in the audience and acted. Was an actor, like my brother was involved as well. But it was brilliant, like things like that. Like, I think things like that should be introduced to prison, like arts, like I don't know if I can name the people, but Ellie for Citizens Theatre, like they used to come in every Tuesday and Thursday, and I used to love it. Like I used to look forward to it, and then we would write our own plays, and then we'd perform them in front of the full like Berlin. Like things like that need to be brought in.
So what would you say was the worst jail that you've been in Scotland? Because you said you were in
Adderall. I used to go to Adderall.
Yep.
Because it's just so unsafe. You're open too many times. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not scared, but I'm not a fucking hard man, do you know what I mean? Like you can, there's obviously Adderall's ran with gangsters, no screws. Like, it's run with a certain gang. And the amount of people I seen get slashed, scalded, things like that in Berlin showers. I remember a guy getting absolutely the face took clean right off him, and I'm holding a towel on his face, and I get dragged in, pulled down the digger for it because I'm the last one here trying to help him. And it's the idea of questioning me, like, why are you the last one in the showers with him? I said, because I'm helping the guy, like, he's got fucking half a face. Anyway, I was alright, like, the guy did say, listen, he was not the day with that, but that's mere trauma, seeing that kind of stuff.
How did you cope in jail when you seen all that?
Drugs. I'm not going to lie, I just abused drugs. And then what they used to do in Berlin was, so if you had a cell search, I got a cell search in Berlin, right, because my brother was working in the cooks, and my brother was bringing, there's a lifer, like Training for Freedom it's called, where they put ex-lifers in Berlin, like in a different section. But my brother had a job who had access to them. So my brother was bringing eggs, the drugs, for people contacting certain people, bringing them in. So my brother got us a cell search, me and him, during the Euros.
He's in the same cell?
No, so we were dubbed up together in B Hall, but we fought like fuck. I remember one time, my mum just missed our PPC, so we only had like £4 in our canteen, £2 each. So you drink all day, drink tea and coffee, you know I'm a tea head, through jail, right? That's the only thing you can do is take drugs, smoke vapes, drink tea or coffee, that's all you can do. But I remember ordering tea bags, and I told my brother to order sugar. And I remember the canteen coming in, and I remember I turned around and looked at him, and he was just standing there with his two hands out with a bag of 4 mini bottles of red cola. And he said, I've not ordered sugar, I've ordered the wrong things. And I fucking attacked him. Like,
no difference, is there?
So me and him were rolling about the cell, I fall and burst my head off a pipe. My mum then goes to a visit with Kyle and me and says, you better not be batting him in that cell. I says, that'll be fucking right.
How did your family cope with you and your brother in the jail?
So that's a hard question. Like, at first, my family were up seeing me every week, but then it's up to me. Do you know what I mean? I was the one that was getting out, get back in, out, back in, out, back in, out, back in. So my family get tired of it. Like, they stopped believing in me, I suppose, which is quite right. Like, I kept telling them I'm going to change, which I wanted to, but like, I was too wrapped up. Like, as I say, I was getting lubbed out of Adderall, weighing it, rattling. My mum had picked me up, took me to McDonald's, and she's like, why are you not eating your burger? and I couldn't tell her because I'm fucking rattling. So the day I went home, I went and bought Valium to take that feeling away, and they did. And then 2 months later, I was back in through Valium, as I say. So my addiction in prison, right? People can say, "Oh, you don't need, you shouldn't have took the drug," but you go into prison and try and do a big long sentence and try and not take a drug for 1 day. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. How long did you do all in, like prison?
I think it was just like maybe 11.5 years on.
Right. So
All
most of
in,
your life,
all
really?
different sentences, like all different remand things like that. 11.5 years on. That's all I know.
So now that you've been out, 6 years now?
6 years, 6 years just coming up in January.
So how have you stayed out of crime for so long now?
So I don't get me wrong, like when I got out at 30, I was a year sober, then I would relapse here, there. So like I was still getting into wee bits of trouble, but like nothing that I used to do. I just know now that jail isn't for me anymore. Like when I was 24, 25, like it was for me. Like I had the past job, I had the pantry in every hall. Like I just am not built for jail anymore, and I've done that much shit. Like the only thing I can do now is try and help other people, give somebody else a platform. That's why I'm trying to get this podcast up and running. This is my first ever podcast. I've got lighting, still to buy mics and that. I didn't realise it was going to be this hard, by the way, and I wouldn't even have started it. But one thing I'm not going to give up on it. Like I may as well keep going because I've got a story to tell, and I know there's a lot of other people out there that's got stories to tell that are hidden. And when I think, well, these other podcasts have got these big names on it, these big massive drug dealers, well, there's people in my area that's got stories to tell that are real life, like what's happening right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the hell can we do to fix? Like,
so what are you doing with your life now?
So obviously I went to college. I went and done a course, swap access to health and social care for a year, and then I dropped out at the end because I relapsed. That's the truth. Like,
what age were you?
That was 2.5 years ago. So I went to college for a year, relapsed, and didn't go back for my second year, and I loved it. But I don't want to be a social worker. I want to be like maybe a peer worker. I would love to work with young offenders. I'd love to work in a rehab, and as you know, I've been offered to go and volunteer, and well, we don't know where yet, but we're looking at volunteering. So I'd love to go and volunteer, maybe with young offenders and people with addiction, and try and pass a bit of my wisdom on to them. And I know it sounds cliche, but if I can help one person, well, you're winning, aren't you?
Yep, yeah. So what are you doing just now? Just waiting on your volunteer? And
so I like as I say, I've grew up now. Like I want to go back to prison. Like I want to help fix prisons, because prisons right now are an absolute disgrace. Like MD will tell you. A big shout out to Social Sessions, by the way, a podcast that's inspired me. A big shout out to Tin Pail TV, a podcast that's inspired me as well. Two guys that I know that I was in prison with. I think one remembers me, but I don't think Tin Pail remembers me. But I have spoke to him. But a big shout out to they two, because like they're doing the same kind of thing. Sorry about this. They're doing the same kind of thing that I want to do. Like we need change in this country in the prison system. You look at Norway, you look at places like that. Like ours is an absolute disaster. Like it's shocking.
So Keith, how long have you been clean for?
6.5 months.
And
So
how
as
are
I
you
say,
feeling?
I feel good, but I don't feel like I'm not conquered anything yet. I'm not sitting here telling everybody that, oh, I've got the answers to addiction, I've got the answers to fix everything in prison. But I believe like I could help. If you put me in a prison right now and a governor asked me how to run a wing, like there should be maybe trauma wings, like classes for trauma. Like they need to start putting these things into prison, because it's just a revolving door. Look at the special unit in Ballini. I'm not sure what the success rate was, but like most of the guys in that unit did not go back to prison. One of them was like a mad gangster, Jimmy Boyle, as everybody knows. He was in every prison, he was an absolute animal. He went to the special unit and turned his life around, get out, and now he's a famous artist. I don't understand why they don't do something like that again. I know other prisoners were moaning about it because they had like, apparently they were all drinking and stuff like that, but you look at the success rate of that and how much it worked. Why cancel it? Why not try something else? Why not try a new version, a special unit? Like I think Scotland is ran by the wrong people. Like we don't make our own decisions up here. I've been in prison most of my life. It has to change because there's young people out there, 15, 14, that are going that way, that are heading straight for prison the same way as me. Like see if you want to sell drugs and you want to do this and that, it's only going to end up one way. You're going to end up doing life or you're going to end up dead, which has both happened to me. I mean, I was stabbed 18 times, died 3 times. Like I don't know what I should burn my knees in a chapel, like praying to God that I'm still alive. The things I've been through. Yeah, but as I say, I've got a lot more stories in that, but I just don't want to get you all that now. I just want to get this first video out and just let people know a bit about my life and what I'm trying to do with this podcast.
This is your first podcast and you've done amazing. You've been really, really brave and you should put yourself out there more.
I know that. Well, that's what I do. Like as I say, like I've been on TikTok now. I've got 10,000 followers on it, but my journey isn't TikTok. It's no battling people, this and that. Like at the bottom of my heart, I want to push for change.
Yeah.
Like as I say, I don't have the ideas. I don't have the answers, but I certainly have the ideas.
Yeah.
Like I certainly know ways that would help me, especially if I was in prison, right, and these trauma things come in and all that, and that would have helped me massively, because trauma is a big part of everybody's life. You see these people in there, they're in secure units at 14, secure units at 15, then they hit Pullman. Every single person I seen in Pullman, I seen later in another jail. If it wasn't Berlin, I seen them, it was Low Moss. If it wasn't Low Moss, it was Perth. If it wasn't Perth, it was Stockton. But that just showed you how much you evolved and what it was. And you meet some good people in prison, some really good people. That you meet, there's some people in prison that just are that, like, fucking, I can't explain it. Like, it's as if that's a life.
Yeah. Like,
some people don't have family outside. Some people don't have any, so some people in jail like it,
they're
prefer
getting
it.
their meals, they're getting everything in jail.
Exactly.
Sounds it. I've not ever been in a cell right enough, but
I know, but it's a mess. The Scottish system's a mess. Everybody knows that. Like, but
So I think we'll wrap it up here, Kate. You've done absolutely amazing on your first podcast, and thanks for asking me to do it with you. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Well, as I say, this isn't my life story. My life story will be kept for another time. I'm only 6.5 months clean, so I can't come on here and tell everybody that I've turned my life around. No, I take it day by day, and I will be taking it day by day, every single day, until I feel that I'm out the woods. I feel I'm out the woods now, but I've been sober for a year before in relapse, so I'm not trying to kid anybody on that I'm not going to relapse again. Touch any wood, I never do. But I've got a fiance now. Like, I've been on holiday for the first time since I was like 16, 4 months ago. I booked up to go again for June. So a lot of things have opened my eyes outside, but I just want to get into try to help people. As I say, I'm obviously talking to volunteers now, and I'm hoping to get into volunteering. I was thinking about going back to college, but I just don't think that's for me. Like, I was the only ex-prisoner in the class. I told the college, the full class, that I was an ex-prisoner, and the lecturer told me that she wishes she had what I had, which is lived experience.
Yeah.
They're crying out for people with lived experience, because they sent a social worker up to see me in Poland. She was 22 years of age, I was 19, and she's no kids, she's never been in a cell, and she's trying to tell me how to stop committing crimes and stuff. But I know she's not got a clue about anything.
Yep.
All I'm thinking about is like, can I get her phone number? Like that's like literally every single thing she was saying was in there and out there. But if somebody's sitting in front of you that's done fucking 11.5 years or 15 years or whatever, that's been through it all, that's been stabbed, can sit there and tell you, listen, this is how it goes. Well, maybe if somebody sat me down at that age in Pullman and had a talk to me about that, maybe things could have been different. Maybe they wouldn't have been, but that's what I'm saying. I think they need more people that's been in prison, people that's turned their life around, people that want change in this country for the best. Like, as I say, there is some people in prison who deserve to be in prison, but there's some people in prison who are like lifers, who are literally out of their tariff. So I know a guy that got 16 years, he's been in 20 because he's failing drug tests. Like, they're keeping a guy 5 years out of his sentence just because he's got a drug addiction. I mean, he should be released into a rehab, something like that, but they don't have anything like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I've not been in 5 years. I heard Berlin's making a lot of progress, the governor in Berlin as well. And even when I was in Berlin, they had like the citizen seater coming in, which was amazing. Like, but I think Berlin's like moving forward with a lot of things like that, because it has to change. Because look at the overcrowding. They're building a new prison. Like, they're going to need to fucking build more prisons. Like, if this doesn't change, there'll be a lot more prisons built if this doesn't change. But I just want everybody to know that MD that's been through anything in their life is welcome on this podcast. I can't have people active in crime and stuff like that. Like, it's all about change. And as I say, I'm only 6.5 months sober. Like, I can't sit here and say, like, I'm this and that. I ain't better than anybody. Like, anybody that knows me knows that. Like, I've made mistakes, I've got regrets in my life that I can never change. But all I can do now is go forward, keep myself clean, push forward, and try and help as much as I can.
There's more people coming on to speak, aren't there?
And there is. I've got a rapper, JH Town. I'm gonna go over and see him on next Monday. So we'll hopefully have a podcast with him on Monday. My brother, who spent 10, 11 years in prison as well, we're going to have him on, and hopefully another guest on as well. So we've got a few lined up, but I just wanted to come on, introduce myself, tell you a bit about myself, and once maybe I'm a year and a half clean, then I will come on and tell my full life story, like every single thing. Like, I've missed it a lot out, do you know what I mean? But I've intentionally missed it a lot out because, as I say, like, I was hoping to get maybe a guest first, but this idea just came to me about a podcast. As I say, I was inspired by social sessions, Tin Pail TV and Hawaii 5-0, who I was in prison with as well, but I don't know if he remembers me. But I'm sure he knows my brother Kyle. But anyway.
Again, Keith, you've done absolutely amazing on your first podcast, and I'd just like to say to everyone to like, share and subscribe to your channel. Thanks
very much, and thanks for interviewing me. And if anybody could like, share, subscribe, and then, as I say, MD that's got a story out there, my socials, hit them up with my name, give me a DM, and as I say, if we're all underdogs in life, do you know what I mean? Like, we're pawns in a fucking chess game, but I'm pushing for change in Scottish prison systems. I'm pushing for change in addiction, things like that. I don't know how it will go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here saying I've got the full thing worked out. Nobody's got the full thing worked out. But what everybody has to do is come together and put pressure on these jails and governors, that people with real life experience who have been out of prison for 5-6 years now can tell you it's not working. It's clearly not working. Some people haven't got the mindset to stop and think, well, wait a minute, like, I'm just lucky, like, there was like a click in my head.
Yeah.
Like, it just went, and don't get me wrong, like, when I got out of prison, I've not been out of prison 6 years and, like, been clean for 6 years. I've been an absolute, like, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down, let my family down, then tried again, done amazing, let them down. But this time, as I say, I've got a fiance, which I've never had before. I just feel like the hole that was in me. So when I used to get paid, I would be maybe a year clean. I would go and buy hundreds of new clays, trainers. I'd go back to my mum's and I'd be in a spare room in my mum's and I still felt empty. And I can't explain it, but that emptiness is gone now. There's still certain bits of emptiness in everybody, but that, like, there's a hole being filled there, and I just hope, like, I can help in any way to end it. And as I say, anybody that's out there that's got a story that's probably not going to go and get a interview on these big podcasts, this is what this podcast's for the people, like, that can't get on these big podcasts, because I know people that's got stories that are absolutely incredible, but they can't get on these big massive podcasts. So this is why I'm doing this. I want to give people a chance to come on here and tell their life story and how they've turned it around and stuff. So that's what we're doing.
It's amazing what you're doing for everyone. But yeah, we'll wrap it up here, Keith, and thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
You.
Thanks, guys.